Happy Taco Thursday. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Aaron B. And I got a special guest for y'all. He's been on the show a few times, so he's basically family on the show. It is my guy Justin of the Justin Time Podcast. How's it going, Justin?
Good, man. How about yourself? How you doing?
Just doing pretty well. We got the NBA draft going on, so we're kind of in between that. I got the times mixed up with the draft because they kind of switched it on us. Now they're doing 2 days. They're kind of going that NFL draft route. Don't blame them. So you got to get them ready.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't know it was going to start at 3 o'clock. I thought it was going to be at like 7, like yesterday. So it threw
Yeah,
me
that's
off.
what I thought. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like that makes more sense to me because everybody's just getting off of work or
Yeah.
something around this time. But hey, we all got phones, and it's that part of the day you just like, let me see
I
who's
think
getting
I
drafted.
also think the NBA wasn't trying to compete with the presidential election tonight.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
pretty big thing going on.
that's true. There's a lot going on this Thursday, and we
Yeah.
got to stay consistent on the podcast game. But before we get into the NBA draft, but by the time we get into the Spurs talk, we'll probably know who our next guy is. But we got to talk about Mike McCarthy is frustrated with the Joneses. Like he's basically like the fans. We're frustrated with the Joneses doing this all season. But what's your opinion on hearing about reports of Mike McCarthy a little bit frustrated with what's going on this all season?
Yeah, I mean, who can't blame Mike McCarthy for feeling this type of way about Jerry Jones? I think that thing that frustrates him, well, there's two things that'll probably frustrate him. Number one is because we haven't re-signed three of our biggest players on the team. Like Dak Prescott still hasn't talked. We haven't gotten any further on his contract. We haven't got further on CeeDee Lamb's, who I think is an extremely important piece to this offense. And lastly, Micah Parsons, probably our best defensive player on the team. They all need contracts, and it just feels like the contract talks have stalled for a little bit for a while.
Yeah.
And you really want to get those guys locked up before the season, or at least so they can come back to the team and get ready for the season. Because as of right now, they haven't even been very present at like OTAs and stuff like that. So the second thing is Mike McCarthy is due for an extension, and he's on the last year of his deal. And this is probably a make it or break it year for him here in Dallas, probably from Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is trying to do everything on his way or the highway, and I don't know. I'm getting scared. Man. As a Cowboys fan, I'm getting scared.
Yeah, there's been a lack of urgency this whole off season. Like you don't give this man the opportunity to get the team better. It's in his last season. It's kind of the last. It's not even. Everybody thought this would be the last dance, but it don't feel like that. It's just like, oh, he's got a couple years. No, he's got 1 year to
Yeah.
make an opportunity, or he's gonna be trying to look for another job because what the players they added on this team is not like you feel like the team's gotten better. It's kind of like the team digressed, maybe a team that could be a 9 or 10 type 9 to 10 type of team because there's talent there, but like you were saying, you haven't re-signed back CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. They're always on waiting until the last minute to sign him. Michael Parsons needs a contract, but you got to sign your number one target as your receiver, CeeDee Lamb, and then your QB1.
You don't resign CeeDee Lamb, then I'm scared of what the season might become next year because that's just not enough talent for Dak Prescott or any quarterback to throw to. Because outside of CeeDee Lamb, our depth's okay, but it's not the greatest room in the world.
Yeah, like I like Jake Ferguson, but I want that to be our main guy. That should be option 2. And
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb has showed that he's improved over the season. Why don't you sign him? It's just you just seen Justin Jefferson get his contract. So
Yeah.
that price you thought he was gonna get at first is not the same price now.
Yeah, and that's on Jerry Jones for, again, the lack of urgency. I would have had CeeDee Lamb signed up a long time ago, make sure he was happy with his contract. And frankly, I wouldn't have gone this far into the summer without at least giving Dak some, or not Dak, Micah Parsons, some like assurance that he's going to get paid. And for Dak, too, to work out something to where he's happy with his contract.
Yeah. And then it doesn't benefit CeeDee Lamb's been holding out. We know he's been working out and everything, so that's not a thing you got to worry about. But just building that connection and implementing the offense and stuff with Dak, you want to have that connection right. You got to have it on point, but it hasn't been there because of the fact he needs the contract. I know that's because that's between him and the agent, but you got to get that contract done before training camp. That's your number one.
Yeah, I mean, he played like a top 5 receiver last year. It's arguable for some people if he's in that conversation or not. I mean, I'm a biased Cowboys fan. I'm going to say he is in that conversation. He was a really good player. He had a really good year last year. He's going to get a lot of volume. If you bring him back this year, he's going to be another top guy in his NFL. I think it's a no-brainer. You got to bring CeeDee Lamb back.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if I don't want to make, before we get into our next topic, I'm trying to see if I miss anything. Okay, yeah, we basically talked about it, but Mike McCarthy needs the guys, and now kind of going into the next topic is this all-season free agency has been lackluster. We kind of talked into that, but
Yeah.
I want to kind of go into the guys that we lost. We lost Tyron Smith, Tyler Biotis, okay, Jonathan Hankins. You kind of wish we had a one tech at this point. Stephon Gilmore's a free agent. LVE retired, and Tony Pollard went to the Titans. So you lost some key weapons in there, and we kind of replaced them with rookies. But what's your thoughts on the guys that we brought in and the guys that we lost?
It, by all means, was not a very sexy draft for the Cowboys. They definitely handled the lines of scrimmage, which, it's necessary. You want to be a winning team, you got to have a good line. And, they made some good draft picks on the O-line, specifically talking about the kid that we got from Oklahoma, Tyler Guyton, in the first round. And then we got Cooper Beebe in the middle part of the draft, and that was a really good selection. But overall, man, I really just, it felt like there was just, again, a lack of urgency. There wasn't a strategy in place to where we needed to go after these certain guys and get better at each positions. It just felt like they were just trying to make this team better, just with not a lot of effort. I mean, you got Eric Kendricks coming in at linebacker. That's a pretty good signing for the linebacker group. He's very familiar with Mike Zimmer. I'm hopeful that this team can put it together. And, they'll have DeMarvion Overshown. I'm excited to watch him play for the Cowboys. I think he's going to have a big year one for him because he wasn't able to play last year because of the injury. I'm looking forward to Trayvon Diggs being back. It's been reports he's been looking good in training camps and all that. So that's a really good secondary unit we have just with him and Deron Bland. Hope we're able to, find a way to bring back Gilmore, because I felt like he was huge with just being a vet on his team and really shaping up that secondary, because, I mean, he's had a lot of good years in the NFL with just the teammates he's played with and all the different locker rooms he's been around. So, I mean, I hope the Cowboys do something more. Felt like running back, the ones we have on roster, okay. I don't think it's the greatest room at all in this NFL. I think there's definitely an upgrade ready to be made. Hopefully someone drops like a Miles Sanders or someone like that, and we just upgrade small. But I'm not that strong on this Cowboys season, just because, everybody else got way better, and it felt like we didn't move the needle as much.
Yeah, and we got comfortable, and like I agree though. The running back room is not the worst in the NFL, but it's not the greatest. Like I wouldn't mind just Miles Sanders that they released. Because I don't think, if you looked at his season, he was playing with the Carolina Panthers, that are lacking on the offensive line. But you bring him into a Cowboy offensive line, you'll see some improvement when it comes to his stats. But I wouldn't mind a running back room if you're talking about a Miles Sanders, Zeke, and then Rico Dowdle, and that's not
bad. It's a little bit of depth. They all do a little bit of things a little differently. I like it. It's versatility.
Yeah, and that's more of like a middle of the pack type of running back room, which is good, because we got a good wide receiving core, and then you got a really good tight end. So that's something that you could look forward to. You're kind of more on the I'm trying to think. The running back room is kind of like, who's going to be your running back one? Is between Dowdle and Zeke. Royce Freeman is kind of like that fringe guy between running back 3 or 4. He's been a journeyman his whole career. It's not moving the needle like you had with a Tony Pollard, who's a really solid running back. We just didn't utilize him right until his last 2 years of his season. When it comes to the Cowboys, it's just kind of been like, your hopes are like, can we at least be a 10-game type of team, or maybe 11-game type of team? But it's just, you're not as whatchamacallit is confident in this team like you were last year. It's like they haven't done anything where you're like okay, this is the team that's really gonna make a push in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like at least last year, I had like the I guess the cushion in my head that Dak was going to at least have some pressure taken off him because of Tony Pollard's ability to run the football and to be something in the receiving game. But I don't know. I just feel like Dak's going to have to play his butt off every single game this year.
Yeah.
And he'll probably have another good statistical season. But, I mean, it's a lot. That's a lot to ask.
Yeah. And there's so many rookies on the offensive line. You have a Cooper Beebe and a Tyler Guyton. I know 2 doesn't sound like a lot, but when you talk about your offensive line, you're expecting a lot from guys that may have a rookie wall where they may look really good for a few games, but there's going to be some teams that maybe get the best of them. And you're kind of expecting them to be these superstar guys, but they're rookies. I think both of them could be really good offensive line for this team, but this is their rookie year. They're developing into to the NFL, transition from the NFL from college. And you're expecting them because our first 3 games are against some of the top defensive lines out there. I think we played you got the Ravens and the Browns. That's a tough thing to be playing against as a rookie. But
that whole division is tough.
Yeah, like overall, it's gonna be a tough challenging season for the offensive line. I think they'll hold up, but there gonna be some time where they some of these teams may get the best of them. Before we get into the Spurs talk, was there anything else you want to talk about the Cowboys, or you kind of want to just go?
I hope they don't break my hearts, man. I've been telling a bunch of my friends, if they don't bring back CeeDee Lamb, I'm probably gonna have to find another team because that's my favorite player. And like to me, that's just a no-brainer. If come on, Cal, Jerry, quit playing with us. Quit playing with it. Quit playing, Jerry. Come on, man.
Hey, sign CD, Jerry. Come on, do something right this off season. I'm over here. That's the reason why I wore the shirt tonight. So
yeah.
Hey, just try to get that push a little bit. Wake him up. I think he's been taking a nap this whole summer, or something's going on with Jerry.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, he's getting old. He's taking them those hour naps now instead of them 10-minuters. But
it's just crazy when people they try to point out why he ain't working out, like why he hasn't won a Super Bowl, and it's because he's so hands on, and he's been this hands on since head coach Jimmy Johnson, man.
Yeah,
and it's like, dang, if that ain't a sign that you ain't been to the Super Bowl or anywhere close in over 2 decades, come on.
Yeah, it's the definition of insanity. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same, but you get the same results. Like you may win. There's a few times where you win the first game, but you haven't got to that where you got to the conference game since the mid '90s.
That's what I was hoping we were going to do last season, but Green Bay, outstanding talent. They had a great game against us in the wild card.
Yeah, they had basically the perfect game plan. We're going to run the ball. And then we're just gonna stop y'all. We know what y'all gonna do. You heard when Michael Parsons had Jordan Love. They basically knew what we're gonna do. You have a predictable offense and a defense.
Yeah,
it's just. Well, I think I just want to get into some Spurs talking. It's bringing me down. When it comes to the Spurs, yeah. When you get to the Spurs, you can see there's some possible improvement. You went from the bottom. You got a little better this season. And I think with the guys that we drafted, there's some good opportunities. And then free agency starts Sunday. And one guy we just drafted was Harrison Ingram. As of now, because we've been trading a lot of guys. So I want to get your initial thoughts on Harrison Ingram.
That was the initial thought because I didn't see the tweets or anything like that. So that was my first thought. We're getting Harrison Ingram.
Yeah, we're getting him.
All right, that's a pretty good fit for us. He was an amazing rebounder for a wing at North Carolina, and he's very physical. He might be listed on the shorter side on height, he might be barely touching 6'7", but he's very big. He plays very big for his size, and he's got to work on that jump shot. But I think that's a great fit for just defensively and rebounding purposes on the wing. I think that helps us out a lot. It gives us more depth right there at that spot.
Yeah, I had a list of guys I had 2 guys on my list for this pick. It was between Justin Edwards or Jalen Bridges from Baylor. And that would have been
Yeah, I'm high on both those guys.
Yeah, I like the pick with Harrison Ingram. I'm glad we got a wing because we need depth at wing. He's gonna be a depth guy. I see him and Juan Nunez going to the G League for a year or two, and then they could be a part of this team. But I think there'll be some opportunities where they'll be playing for us. But we got to get into our fourth overall pick, and that is Stephon Castle, who all Spurs people, all Spurs fans and media people alike were like they need to get Stephon Castle. What do you think about Stephon Castle as a Spur?
I like Stephon Castle a lot. I mean, I liked watching UConn play all last year. That was a great team that went back to back, and they won this second consecutive national championship a lot due to Stephon Castle and his ability to be basically the best perimeter defender at the guard spot in college basketball. Just a really good player, very good cutter. And I mean, his head coach, Dan Hurley, who turned down the Lakers head coaching job just not too long ago, came out and was just praising Stephon Castle for, his ability to come in and to be an impact player right away as a freshman and to be an amazing defender. And he basically called him a jumbo size Jrue Holiday. So, I mean, that all is very promising to me. I think he's going to come in right away. And I loved watching the Boston Celtics play this whole season. And I loved watching Jrue Holiday and Derek White's role as a part of that team. I was hoping the Spurs would pick somebody that mimics that kind of style of playing offense and defense. And that's Stephon Castle right there. I think he's going to come in. I think that jump shot will come along slowly, but nonetheless, that's a fantastic pick. He'll probably start day one for the Spurs, as he probably should, but I like that long-term fit with him and Wemby.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you got a guy that can lob the ball to Wemby. Now, I like Trey Jones, but now you gotta upgrade at point guard with Stephon Castle. Now Trey Jones can be your backup point guard just in case something happens. But
and ideally in a perfect world, that's what you want Trey Jones for, is that backup point guard.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you get in this draft, these three guys you've upgraded on defense. Now we need to bring in some veteran depth on this team because we're a super young team. Let's get some guys that been to the playoffs, overall have experience, so they can basically be those coaches on the team in a way, kind of showing them the ropes in a way. Is there any guys that? Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. You talking about any guys that would be like good, like trade candidates or free agent signings for the Spurs to add like veteranship?
Yeah, what are?
I'm thinking a free agency, like we can flat out sign Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He played his last few seasons with the Denver Nuggets. I know he just turned down his player option, and the Nuggets just gave Jamal Murray a very big contract extension. So that probably means he's not coming back to the Denver Nuggets. I think he'd be a very good option, just a plug and play. He can start at the 2, and we can move Devin to the 3 if you want. I like that move a lot for the Spurs. Another guy that I might like is if Miami doesn't bring back Caleb Martin, to go ahead and sign him. That's another guy that can slide in at the forward spots, either one, and just be a good defender. Just be a good player. Go out there. He's not going to really handle the ball like that, but I mean, he's just going to guard one of the best guys on the other team, and then he's going to play good. He's going to slash to the bucket, hit open shots. And the last guy that I think would be a good trade candidate is hitting up the Brooklyn Nets and seeing what the market is on Cameron Johnson, because I think Cameron Johnson at 6'9" is one of the league's better shooters. I gotta say, the only thing with him is the injury thing. He's been available for around 55, 60 of his NBA games each season. You're hoping you get better numbers from that, like 65, 70. But nonetheless, he's a great player. I think he'd be an easy fit for the San Antonio Spurs, and I think he's going to be a popular name. I think a lot of teams are going to go and try to get Cameron Johnson.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind either one of those guys, especially like Caleb Martin or KCP. They've been into the finals. One of them has a championship ring. So adding that depth. And when you think of Cam Johnson, you're looking at the Nets. They basically are doing a sale right now because they're in a rebuild mode. So if there's an opportunity to get a Cam Johnson or another guy, I know he's more of a role player. What do you think of a Dorian Finney-Smith as a three-point shooter and playing defense?
That's another name I think that is going to be very popular amongst NBA teams. He'll probably, I don't know what his market's going to be, but I'm glad that the Brooklyn Nets are finally headed in this rebuild spot because they're looking at next year's draft, and next year's draft is supposed to be historic. and it's got a lot of good names in there. But they're saying they want to be at the top of that. They want to put their name in the running. They want to go after a Cooper Flag, Mace Bailey, someone that can change his franchise around. I think that's a great decision by the Brooklyn Nets. It's better than what they were headed. They thought that Mikal Bridges was going to be the number one, and they're going to put guys around him, but that just wasn't the case.
Yeah, Mikal Bridges is a really good player. I think he just needs to be that second or third guy, and I feel like it's perfect for him to go to Nets. He's basically going. It's the Villanova Knicks, so they got something going on there. Oh, before we go, shout out to Tony. What's good? What's good?
What's going on, boss?
So, before I let you go, bro, I appreciate you again. I know it was last minute, but I appreciate you for taking time out of your day to be on the show. But before I let you go, where can they check out your show?
Y'all can hit me up at the Just in Time podcast with Justin Shoot on YouTube. Trying to get those episodes all uploaded to Spotify. It's a process, but yeah, y'all just tap in with me.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll definitely put the link where they can check out your show and everything in there, so they could definitely give you a follow and everything. So you said you're trying to get on Spotify?
Yeah, I got some episodes uploaded, but there was a gap in time where I stopped uploading those episodes. I didn't want it to be out of order, so
yeah,
that's on me. Slowly coming.
It's all good, bro. I'm trying to get back on putting them on the audio game, but I'll be focused on the video and stuff because I know everybody's on the visual mode. But
the intro looks so nice.
I appreciate you. Shout out to my guy Mike on that one for hooking him up. I definitely send you the link where you could follow him, and he does really good work and stuff. So I know you definitely want to get that intro and stuff. So
appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. But hey, this has been Tacos and Touchdown Live. I appreciate everybody for pulling up. I know a lot of things are going on this Thursday. Definitely appreciate y'all. We'll be back next Thursday. Y'all have a good one. Peace.